it's Ashley. This is Let's Talk Recovery Houston. So I'm excited about today because honestly, I have never got to hear his whole story. I've just seen him around places, and I know everyone loves him, and he's really great. So this is my friend Garren, and he is going to share with us his experience, strength, and hope today. And with that, I'm just going to let him take it away.
All right, thank you, Ashley.
You're welcome.
So my name's Garren. I'm an alcoholic. So I'll go over, the beginning, middle, and end. I was born in Boise, Idaho, to two parents, Jennifer and Bryant, and I'm the second oldest. I have 5 siblings, and now I have two step siblings. So there's 7 of us total. So I was born there. My childhood was different. I always felt out of place growing up. There's always something wrong. My parents always fought. I don't remember a day that went by that they didn't get into an altercation with each other. So there's always that tension in the air. We came from humble beginnings. I think one of the main things my parents thought about was finances, and how are we gonna get by this month, but it was at the same time that from that time from 0 days to 8 years old, it was good. It wasn't all bad, and my parents did try to give us everything that we needed. We never went hungry, and I'm very grateful to my parents. I love them very much. We have a great relationship today. It wasn't always like that, but because of this program, it is like that today. And then, so at 8 years old, my dad finally graduated college, and we moved to Houston. He got a job in the oil industry, and so we moved to where Waller is now, but like 99 to 90. And so I spent my teens growing up there. As a child, I went through different phases. At one point I was a jock, and in the sports, and then I was the nerd, and then I was the bully, and then I was getting bullied, and then I was beating up the bullies, and it was a roller coaster of emotions growing up. And I always just wanted to fit in, and I never ever felt that until I smoked weed for the first time. Once I smoked weed for the first time, I was like, holy shit, yeah, I want to do this the rest of my days.
That's how I was like, I'm gonna smoke weed forever.
Yeah, this is nice. So like the first time, like my buddy, he bought some, and so how that came about was, I think whenever I was 12, my uncle died from meth, so we flew back up to Idaho. All my family's in Idaho, so we flew back up to Idaho, went to his funeral, and I promised myself that I would never drink and I would never do drugs and I would never be like my uncle, because I saw what my mom went through whenever her brother died. and it was very heartbreaking to watch that. Around the same time, my parents also promised me that they would not get divorced. You know, like I said, there was a thickness in the air all the time. You know, at family dinner, we never spoke to each other. You know, we all just kind of did our own thing. It was like walking on eggshells. Let me turn that off. And so the first time I smoked weed, I think I was 15, and you know, that was the day that my parents told me, "Hey, we're gonna get divorced." You know, and I was heartbroken. You know, I was 15 years old, and it really affected me in a very hard way, in a very terrible way. And so I said, well, cool, now that we're breaking promises, I'm going to go get high. And that's what I did. I went and got high. And then, you know, that feeling, I just never wanted to stop from that moment on. I spent the next probably year and a half doing drugs, drinking every single day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you know, it led me down to a life where, you know, the second time that I got high, I stole money from my mom to get high. You know what I mean? And I was a good kid. You know, I mean, I knew right from wrong, but I didn't care. You know, I just wanted to feel nothing. I wanted to obliterate myself into oblivion every day. And so from there, you know, I robbed the local hot dog stand. You know, broke in and stole the cash register. And I was at 15 years old. What 15-year-old kid does that? And you know, I started stealing alcohol and just, you know, I started selling weed, and you know, to just keep my habit. And then so my drug habit went from, you know, weed to pills, you know, a lot of bars, a lot of Xanax. You know, I mean, I have scars from my Xanax binges, because I would if I didn't get one in the morning, I would end up passing out. I would stand up and then I would fall. And so one day I was getting high in my backyard, and I stood up too fast. I fell. I woke up probably 20 minutes later, and there was a pool of blood around me. And then so I had the scar on my chin. You can't really see it because of my beard.
Is that why we have the beard? Is that why you have the beard? Trade secrets. That's why you have the beard.
Trade secrets. That's why you'll never see me without a beard on. So yeah, and so, but also, from a young age, I was a very hard worker. You know, I always had a job. I was always hustling. I was always doing something. So at 16 years old, you know, lifeguarding was great because you could get really high and lifeguard at the same time. You know, you just sat there with your sunglasses on. They couldn't tell you were obliterated. Except one time I did fall asleep on a stand, and so Mom started cussing me out. But anyways, and so I saved up $1,600. I bought this 1999 Ford Mustang for $1,600, my first car. And man, I put that thing through the ringer. I mean, I got a DUI at 16. I can't tell you how many times I crashed it. You know, back. I mean, this is also, I was going through a Xanax period at the time, and so I woke up in a ditch.
Oh yeah, so they're big chunks you probably don't even remember from back then.
Huge chunks,
yeah.
Huge chunks, and this is getting to a really good portion of my story where yeah, there's parts of my story where I only know what people have told me, you know, weeks. You know, I mean, it's just very, very screwed up, and so that's going on. and this, so we're getting to about junior year, and me and my mom were not getting along at this time, just because she saw where I was going, and she knew what happened to her brother, and she was just so scared for me. She saw what I was doing, and she felt helpless, and she couldn't watch me go through it, and I couldn't stop, and I didn't want to stop, and all I wanted to do was use, let's keep going, and in my addiction, it was impossible to see the carnage that I was creating around me. It was impossible to see what I was doing to my mother. It was impossible to see what I was doing to my younger siblings, with using all the time. It's not that I didn't want to see; I just couldn't. I was incapable. It's just the power of our disease. And so I'm missing a lot of school. Grades are shit. I was always a good student before then. A's and B's. And so we get into to junior year summer, get out of junior, senior year summer, and I'm going balls to the wall. I had this sheet of acid, and I'm starting to get really into acid. And one day, I take like 2 or 3 tabs, and of course I'm still selling drugs to keep my habit going, and I go on this terrible trip where I start, the shadow people come out, and everyone is after me. And so there's voices in my head that are telling me what to do now. And they're telling me, hey, if you want to live, you have to take more acid. And I have a sheet of acid. And so I keep taking them. And they say, okay, go for a walk. So I go for a walk. And there's an HEB about 2 miles from where I'm living. And so I start walking, and the voices keep getting louder and louder and louder in my head. And I'm about 20 tabs of acid in at this point.
Oh my God.
And so I arrive at HEB, and keep in mind, I've been up for 3 or 4 days at this point. I did a lot of Adderall, and so I hadn't showered in probably a week, and I have no shoes on, dirty shirt, it just looked like shit, and they say, okay, go inside. The voices tell me, go inside HEB, start passing out meat. So I go to the meat section, and you see this 16-year-old kid. But keep in mind, I've always had a beard. I had a beard at 14 years old. So I look probably 23 years old at this point. So you see this 23-year-old guy in HEB passing out steaks to people, going up to just people, hey, I think you need to have this sausage. Hey, think you need to have this fillet.
Are you forever banned from HEB?
No, I'm not, and I'm forever grateful for that. And then the ninjas start coming out of the walls, and so they're trying to kill me, and so I'm passing out meat, and there's ninjas over there and over there and over there they throw ninja stars at me, and so I just keep on passing out meat until the manager comes up to me and said, hey man, what's going on? I said, hey man, there's ninjas after me. I need you to call the fucking cops right now. And he says, okay, well, why don't you come with me? So and I said, okay, but I have to hold on to you. Those voices are telling me all this, right? I have to hold on to you. So I grabbed the manager, and I'm holding on to him, and I said, okay, you got to call the cops. Because I figured at this point, if I can get into jail, I'll be safe from the ninjas that are trying to kill me. This is all very real. Whenever I was on acid, like they're really just trying to kill me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's very traumatic, you know, forever scars, forever changes you. And so we go up front, cops arrive, and he's trying to talk to me. And I'm like, dude, do you understand? There's people trying to kill me. Like, we gotta get going.
Can we go? Please take me to jail right now.
Yeah, we gotta go to jail right now. And so he's just trying to chit chat, trying to figure out, you know, hey, what's your name? Where are you from? You know, I'm like, all right, man. So I grab his gun. I grab the cop's gun, and once he sees me going for his gun, he slams me, you know, onto the ground, and you know, puts me in cuffs, throws me in the cop car, and
That is a quick way to get arrested.
yeah, well, I was trying. So I think maybe somebody recognized me. I don't know how it happened, but I'm very grateful to this cop. He, you know, he saw that I was off in a very bad way, and instead of taking me to jail, he called an ambulance, and they took me to the hospital, and you know, but this whole time, I think that, okay, but now the ambulance is trying to kill me. You know, they're sticking me with things. You know, so I start fighting the people in the ambulance. You know, I'm trying to punch them, and so they restrain me, and I'm on the stretcher restrained. And this goes on for another, in the next 2 months, I'm always in fear of my life. There's always somebody after me. The army is outside. Fucking mobsters are at my door. You know, I have to do, the voices are still there. I have to do this to stay alive. I have to do that to stay alive. It goes on for another 2 months. And so getting back to where I was. So we're in the hospital. They let me out of the hospital. My dad comes and picks me up. You know, and I trip for the next 72 hours, still in the free world. And so back to my dad's. I leave my dad's probably at 1 in the morning, and I go for another walk. This walks are terrible walks.
Yeah,
and so I end up somehow linking up with, you know, my using buddies, and they see how screwed up I am and how I can barely talk, walk, speak, function like a normal human being at this point. And then, so we hang out in this parking garage for a while, and then I don't remember really what happens after that. The next thing I remember is, and this is probably a couple days later, my dad is taking me to the park. You know, he says, I don't know what else to do, I'm taking you to the park. And so I'm 17 years old, I go to the adolescent unit. They admit me, and I'm still tripping. You know, like I said, I tripped for months. And so it's hard for me to talk, it's hard for me to walk, it's hard for me to eat, do anything that I know. I'm just a human vegetable at this point. Totally gone. They tell my parents, you know, hey, we can't take care of them. So they send me to the Houston Behavioral Hospital. I stay there for probably 2 weeks or so. And I'm able to kind of regain traction. Starting to come out of it. The voices are still there, but they're not as controlling. I'm starting to be able to talk normally again, but and you know what's funny is the voices started telling me, you can never do drugs again. You can never do drugs again. You can never do drugs again. And so I still to this day have this notebook that they give you in the Houston Behavioral Hospital. And there's pages and pages and pages and pages of where I just wrote, I can never do drugs again. I can never do drugs again. Pages of that, me just writing that. That's what I do. I just write. you know, what I wanted to do, and I knew from that moment on I never wanted to do drugs again. I never wanted to be put in that situation again, where I'm just, you know, I mean, I remember this point where I was in the park and it was, hey, if you want your family to live, the voices are telling me this, hey, if you want your family to live, you have to put these pencils inside of your eyeballs, you know. And so I'm sitting there with 2 pencils in my hand, and I stare at them for hours, thinking if I don't put these pencils inside of my eyeballs, my family's going to die. You know what I mean? And so that's how I got sober. You know, I mean, after that, I threw my hands up and said, whatever I have to do to never do that again.
So were you at the park, Houston Behavioral, and then did you go back to the park?
So then I went back to the park.
So you are a park alumni?
I am park
Yes.
alumni. Full graduate, PHP, CPHP, all the P's. And I had about probably $10,000 in a college fund that my great grandpa had set up for me, and so, you know, we sold those stocks, and I went to TRT for, and that's what I used to pay my rent at TRT for a year. I went to a sober high school called Archway Academy.
Okay, so you went to Archway?
I did.
I think someone else should be going.
And so that was a huge help. You know, completely removing myself out of my former environment and just plunging.
You got
into
sober
recovery.
young then, right? So you were only
Right.
17 when
I
you
was
got
17.
sober.
I was 17 when I was at TRT.
Okay.
All this happened, you know, brain dead at 17. And so, yeah, so I mean, I was just completely immersed in recovery. I lived at the Sober Living Center, went to Spring Branch Club every day, went to a peer group every day called TAFs, went to a sober high school. So, I mean, and there's just so many people that I'm forever grateful in my first year that really helped me get back to a normal space of life, because even after that 2 months of, okay, I'm not brain dead anymore, still terrified that people are coming after me, still terrified that assassin's coming for me for the next 6 months, you know what I mean? And I don't tell anybody this. I don't tell anybody this, that the voices are here, because I don't want to go back into, you know,
Right.
into the crazy farm, you know what I mean? So it was kind of a lonely battle, but all I wanted to do was be sober, and there's so many great people that helped me do that. You know, if it hadn't gone down like that, I don't think I would have been where I'm at today. You know what I mean?
Do you think staying so plugged in for your first year really helped you get multiple years of sobriety? Because right now you have multiple years of sobriety.
That's correct. Absolutely.
I mean, you were super plugged in.
Yeah, I mean, I ate, slept, and lived recovery for my first year. I didn't do anything else except recovery.
And you sponsor people now, so is that
Mhm.
something you tell your sponsees, like just submerge, right?
I do.
To recovery?
I do. You know, I mean, obviously not. I feel very fortunate that I was able to be so submerged. I know some people can't. You know, I mean, but if there's a will, there's a way. But yeah, I mean, I ate, slept, and lived that thing. You know, I would wake up at 5 a.m. every morning, read my big book, pray. About 6 o'clock, start heading into downtown Houston to go to Archway. You know, I would get off from school about 2:30, go to my peer group. Then from the peer group, probably go to like Spring Branch Club, and then I would go home, TRT had a meeting 2 times a week, so I might hit.
Yeah,
a meeting
Monday and
two.
Wednesday or something, or Tuesday?
Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday, 3 days
Okay.
a week. And then go to bed about 9 o'clock and wake up and do it all again. I mean, so that was huge. I mean, it's one of the probably that is the reason why I am the person I am today. And so probably 3 or 4 months into recovery, or sobriety, as I should say. Of course, I spent the first 2 months in hospitals and institutions, or first 2 to 3 months. I went to my first meeting at Spring Branch Club. I met my sponsor. It was a men's meeting, my first meeting, and I said, and they asked, hey, is this your first time, in a meeting? I raised my hand. Hey, this is my first time. I've never been here. They all point to this one guy, and they say, okay, well, that's going to be your sponsor, and so me and him exchanged numbers, and it's also the guy that actually taught me my career, which I'm very grateful for. And so I worked the 12 steps, probably in a month or 2. I was getting after it, and on my resentments list, the only person I was resentful against was myself. Not a single other person was on there. I had no resentments to my family, to my friends, because everything that I'd done to myself willingly. Anything bad that happened was on me, So, I don't know, I just felt like sharing that.
That's pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah.
That it was just you. Yeah, because most people have the well, my mom, my dad.
Yeah, well,
If they have a criminal record, it's been like Passes County Sheriff's Department. That was one of mine for a long time.
Yeah, but I mean, like whenever I was doing it, I was like, yeah, the cops pulled me over all the time and searched my shit, you know what I mean? And I had to do community service, and I fought with my parents all the time, but I was the one that was fucked up.
Yeah. That's a good way. I like it.
If I wasn't fucked up, none of that shit wouldn't have happened. If you're doing the right things. In sobriety, I've never been harassed by the cops.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Nope.
In fact, I speed nowadays because if a cop pulls me over, I don't have anything to worry about.
That's good.
Except a speeding ticket. I got a lawyer that dismisses those. So, anyways, I still got my flaws.
There's on Facebook like that, right? Where they're laughing and they're like, when the cops pull you over, but you don't have warrants. You know what I mean?
Right.
Smiling.
It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I love when cops pull me over today. I look forward to it. It's kind of weird.
So what's your recovery? What does it look like now? Because you have a career, right?
Mm-hmm.
You work, so you can't. Do you go to meetings every day? Still,
No.
Almost 5 years sober.
I don't go to meetings every day. For the first 2 years of my sobriety, I did go to meetings. First year, I went to 3 or 4 meetings a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, today, I work 12 hours a day. I own a business. I have employees so no, I don't hit a meeting every day.
But you work with people still, right? Because you have.
I have a sponsee. All my friends are in the program. If there's ever anything I ever need, I have people that are just a phone call away. Doesn't matter what it is.
And do you think that's important? Because I have some people that really are struggling with you keep not getting this, right? Because you keep doing the things you're doing before.
Right. They have to change
if you're hanging out with people that are using 24/7,
you're gonna use.
And you're that one person that's like, no, I got this, right? You cannot do that. You really have to change your people, places, and things.
Yeah.
For real.
No, you have to change. I mean, the only way I could have gotten sober is if I changed everything. So whenever I got sober, whenever I left the hospital, all the numbers that I had on my phone, deleted them.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And you really have to do that.
All my using buddies, didn't speak to them for the first year. You know, and then even now it's just you know, they'll reach out to me because they know I'm sober. You know, hey man, I'm fucking having my ass fall off. Where's the meeting? You know, that kind of type of thing. But we don't hang out. You know, I mean, I've got much better friends nowadays.
Yeah, all my friends are in the program. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, you if you want to be sober, you got to hang out in the sobriety community. If you want to make money, you got to hang out with people that make money. If you want to have peace in your life, hang out with peaceful people. You know, it's something that was explained to me very early on. You know, I mean, whatever you want to do in life, just hang around with whoever's doing that.
Winners, right?
Stick with the winners. I mean, if you want to win, if you want to lose, stick with the losers. Either way.
So you said your relationship's good with your parents now, right? Is your mom proud of you? They're probably like
fantastic.
Love it, right?
Yeah, I mean, me and my mom. I mean, my mom kicked me out at 16. You know, we didn't speak for that year and a half while I was, you know, out there using every day. But today, me and her have an absolute fantastic relationship. I mean, me and her talk usually several times a week. You know, she lives in Arizona. She remarried and stuff. But I mean, yeah, she's one of my. I feel like she's one of my best friends. I mean, we can talk about anything. We talk about girls. We can talk about you know, finances, business. You know, other family members. What sibling is screwing up? You know,
all the gossip.
yeah, I mean, because it's kind of funny because I mean, like I was the fucking terrible child for years, and now I'm the one that's, you know, owns a multi-million-dollar business and you know, sober 4 years and you know, is always there when they need me. You know.
That's awesome. So I asked you this off camera, and we're gonna go ahead and do it on camera because so I have a lot of followers on my personal page and the Let's Talk Recovery page. And okay, you're sober, you're smart, you're a business owner. Why are you still sober?
Why am I still sober?
Or single. Why are you still single?
Why am I still single?
No, why are you still single? Because, you know, gonna play matchmaker here on the show today.
Well, I mean, I'm still single because probably one of the biggest reasons is I won't even consider getting into a relationship without a woman that has certain qualities. You know, I mean, I've dated girls that have just used me for my money. I've dated girls that, you know, sober that were drug addicts. You know, I mean, I haven't been able to find one that, and I haven't really been looking either. That is where I'm at mentally, spiritually, and financially. You know, and you know, I mean, I have goals in my life, and if those goals don't match up with another person, then I don't want to be with them. You know, and also I'm 21 years old. I've done all this by the time I'm 21 years old.
I feel so old. Oh my gosh.
So it's gonna be so there's not a lot of women that, you know, at 21 years old. Most women are in college or, you know, whatever, partying.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Still.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't really date in the program a whole lot. I mean, yeah, I've messed around in the program, but I've never dated in the program. And so yeah, so that's why I'm single. And also, I just have a really fucked up idea of relationships too. I mean, my parents' relationship really did fuck me up. You know what I mean? Like, I never want to be in that situation that they were in, that they were forced to be in, because they had 5 kids together, and they didn't want to break up the family, but they hated each other, but they loved each other, but they hated each other, you know, so they're screaming at each other. I don't want to be in that situation. I don't want to put anybody else in that situation. So, you know, yeah, at 4 or 5 years sober, whatever I have, I still have a fucked up view of relationships as well, you know? I still have healing to do. So yeah, so I'm just not there yet, and also the goals thing.
Okay. So if you have goals, you can message me on Messenger. I'll have an application posted later in the day. Copies of bank statements and your social are required for background checks.
That's a fact. We need the bank statements. We need the bank statements.
So this is awesome. Anything else you want to share with us today? Shout outs, mom, dad, whoever. You're allowed to do that.
I mean, I owe everything to the people that got me here. You know what I mean? I mean, I can't take credit to anything. All the credit goes to God and the people that got me sober. You know, I mean, it took probably a team of 50 people to get me sober. You know,
It takes a village, right?
yeah. I mean, just from the counselors at all the hospitals and institutions and TRT and my peer group, and you know, I mean, if it wasn't for all of that, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be the man I am today.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this today. So
Yeah.
it wasn't that bad, right?
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Let me give a shout out to Transformation Enzymes for letting me use this space. As always, I'm very grateful for that. This will be on Facebook and YouTube, so like and share, tell all your friends, and have a great rest of your weekend, people.